My winsome niece, it is I, and I bring bounties to you from the seas themselves. The greatest acts of vengeance don't come easily, my niece, so take heart. And also, this. That blasted Titan thinks he's got us, but we'll show him he's all wet, won't we, my niece? Remind that good-for-nothing Titan that Olympus is in charge, would you, my niece? Look, we could use all the help we can get, and we can't be choosy when there's none too many fish in the sea. I owe your father for his generosity, but since he's gone, I'll pay you back instead. Go show those Titans who's in charge, all right? If you catch my meaning. Ha 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 ha! The seas aren't going anywhere, and neither are we, right, my niece? Oh, my little niece, your greatest uncle's here. Here to make sure you really make a splash. That wily old Titan Kronos, I won't sink to calling him my father. We had it out with him before, a while back. Thought we had settled it for good. But we were young and foolish then. When first I heard our last best hope for stopping Kronos was the second-born of Hades and his queen, I said, wait, who? So then they had a girl. The Titan must have struck your father's house right after you were born. It once took 6 of us to bring the Titan Kronos down. Myself, your father, brother Zeus, his lovely Hera, Demeter, and Hestia as well. We'd mighty weapons for the job and everything. Old Kronos never had even a drop of love for me or any of its children, niece. Imagine hating your own offspring, and not just some of them, but all. We never used to have much contact with your father, so when Hades ceased communicating with Olympus, we figured he was back to his old ways. Turns out that old sneak Kronos got him. There was nothing we could do. Once wily Kronos took your father's house, he mustered forces to besiege us here. We can't see anything down in that underworld, so he plain caught us out. But still, we held him off. Your father Hades and I didn't always get along. My crusty elder brother, I called him. Water under the bridge now. Oh, how I miss his dour cheerlessness, my niece. So you were raised in some dark hidden recess of the underworld. Something like that, my niece? Raised to find and vanquish the usurper of your father's throne? That's rich. You've met the brilliant Apollo, have you, niece? He's near as popular with mortals as am I. Perhaps among his many talents he can help you get us out of this. You're shining like the moon herself, my niece. Selene's aid, is it? Here I thought all she did was drive her pretty steeds over my ocean waves. She's dipping into other hobbies then. I wonder, my good niece, are you prepared to sink, or are you prepared to swim? Swim, I say. Swim like our very livelihoods depend on it. Ahoy, my magic-using niece, for it is I. We have the Titan in a stalemate, so you take all the time you need bailing us out. Here, my niece, what say we make a trade? My bountiful blessing in exchange for your fierce battle skills. How fair trade is that? My niece, you needn't be a witch to see your family's in dire straits right now. You needn't be a witch at all if you ask me. I'd choose another way of life if I were you. We're positively drowning in the Titan's wretched forces, niece. But we are gods. We've might enough to hold them off, I think. No telling when a storm's about to hit up here, my niece. Not even a big, dangerous one such as this. You'd think I could have seen it coming, but you'd be wrong. I trust your battles are proceeding well down there. As for our battles here, why, they are going swimmingly, I'd say. We barely need your help. How you must thirst for vengeance, niece. I know the feeling only all too well. Vengeance! As cold and dark as the bottom of the sea. Within my oceans, niece, the deeper you go, the fiercer the pressure. It's almost like you're in too deep yourself. You made it to the surface, little niece. Too bad we couldn't scour the place before you got here, though. We're right in the middle of a big shake-up. As soon as Kronos attacked, why, we retaliated. A cataclysm like you've never seen. Ripped half this land apart. Left all the Titan's armies high and dry. Where are you, niece? The bottom of the sea? Or very close to it? Must be even darker than what you're accustomed to. And the terrible pressure. Not even I can stand it for too long. So how can you? Your father never told me that his realm had all those twisting passageways right next to my domain. A drainage system of some sort, is it? Pouring right into my waters? Oh, I'd have words for Hades about this. Why, niece, you're bleeding everywhere. I can't keep watch over your every move, you know. You must be careful, at least until you have some of my might. Ah, little niece, you're hurt. But pain builds character now, does it not? And you are shaping up to be quite a character in all this. I see that my great brother Zeus already blessed you with his incomparable strength. Well, perhaps not incomparable. Here, have some of mine and you can weigh the benefits. Have you yet come to know Golden Apollo, niece? He's so well known and loved among the mortals that he had no choice but to involve himself in our most recent family affair, bending to mortal pressure like a bow. Ha! Why would you not go big, given the choice, my delicate nephew? I'll shake the earth so strongly it shall swallow all those nasty mortals up and deliver them straight down into the arms of your comely cousin there. Your brother, niece, I used to call him Little Hades. I think that fits you too, especially since he's gone. It should be clear whom I'm referring to, right, Little Hades? You would have liked your brother, little niece. Just about everybody did. He showered me with praise just like a mortal would. A little awkward, yes, but quite endearing, too. A storm is brewing, niece. Big one this time. Why, even bigger than the last. Prepare! Flow forth, my niece, and overwhelm all those who stand against us, would you there? My waves can slam into the land with massive force, especially when I give them a little push. We're in the middle of a war here, little Hades, so we'll chit-chat later. Now we fight. All right, niece, I've little patience left to spare right now, but that's good news for you. You're here upon my surface, aren't you? Why, welcome back, and pardon all the mess. Come on, niece, let's go batter down our enemies like ships within a storm. The tides are turning, can't you feel it, niece? I can, of course, but surely you can too. High tide has come again, my niece, which is my little way of saying, here we go. No holding back this time, you hear me down there, niece? Now let's get shaking. You have the power of the seas right at your beck and call. The untold bounties of the sea are yours. Well, one of them at least. If only your father could see you now. Fortunately, I still sort of can. Strength of earth and sea is yours again, if you can handle it, my niece. I'll never stop fighting for you. Not until the fighting stops. Perhaps not even then. You remind me of crusty old Hades more and more, in a good way. One sudden surge of awesome might coming right up. Water's a fascinating substance, niece. Cuts through the tallest mountains with sufficient time, and yet mortals need to drink the stuff to live. You're multi-talented as well, aren't you? You know what dams are, niece? Ramshackle structures mortals use to hold my waters back. But when I'm angry, wah, my water crashes through. Be like that water. Don't hold back, all right? A shame you had to grow up in the middle of nowhere, my niece. We gods require certain luxuries. Even your stodgy old father liked his gems and such, but you got by with nothing of the sort. Our family scattered to the winds a bit, my niece. You've heard from those of us upon this mountaintop, but Zeus sent several of his children to take care of things down closer to the base. They're probably just fine. Oh, little niece, how thoughtful, but deeply unnecessary. Yet now I'm feeling generous, so here, this one's for you. Ha! Well, I'm left to wonder who it was that taught you such good manners, niece. You're like a proper little lady, I'm impressed. You praise your uncle, and your uncle, why, he thinks it's really great. I think it's great, that is, that you would think of gifts in times like these. Of all the many sacrifices I've been receiving as of late, and there have been a lot, yours have been the very best of all, my niece. Ah, you seem lovelier than ever, niece, as though the splendorous Aphrodite herself bestowed to you her gifts. She did so, didn't she, the scamp? You're favored by Queen Hera, little niece. That's her blessing, all right. High honor to have gotten it, especially for one who, to my knowledge, is unwed. She never favors me. Oh, I haven't seen old Hestia this energized in ages, niece. And now her fiery ability is yours. As to whoever said that fire and water don't mix, I'm here to prove them wrong. Your injuries shall make you stronger, niece. Not right away, you're clearly in bad shape right now, but you shall grow from this, I'm sure. Oh, you must have hit rough waters from the looks of it, but there's good news. I'm here. Arise, my niece, as would a fierce sea creature of some sort, one blessed by me. Nothing beats doling out terrible consequences to our enemies now, does it, niece? Many great battles have been fought upon my seas, but they'll all pale in comparison to this. Come, niece, let us crash upon our enemies as great waves upon the shore. Even the mortals know the sea is bountiful. yet also capable of deadly force. No point in holding back even a smidge when we're in such a serious predicament as there. So here, some of my raw, unbridled power ought to tide you over, I should think. So many of our enemies once feared us gods, but turned their backs on us. I'd say a show of overwhelming force ought to remind them who's the captain of the ship, however, no? Our combined might was once more than enough to vanquish Kronos' little niece, although it also took the wisdom of my noble brother Zeus, who formed our plan. We've quite the plan this time as well, don't we, brother? Oh, absolutely, Lord Zeus. When you get down to it, our clan is of a single will. Although I guess we don't count Kronos in that estimation, do we now? He's technically family, but very much opposed to everything we stand for. As gods, we all must make hard choices, niece. Just earlier, I was unable to decide between causing a massive earthquake or a deadly tidal wave. Ended up doing both. You catch my meaning, right? Much as I'd hate to see the world's surface devastated in the wake of our great war, I'm prepared to do whatever it takes, even if it means causing much of that devastation myself. All that you look upon, both land and sea, that's my domain, you know? As long as you don't look up toward the heavens, that's the territory of your Uncle Zeus. Though I got the better share, I think. Welcome to my boundless, terrifying seas, my niece. Unfortunately, teeming with invaders now. Got my hands full dealing with them, if you must know. We'll see if you can break through their blockade. Right on that very spot once stood a massive army headed for our mountain, niece. So I just split the earth right under them. Ha-ha! So now we have a massive navy to contend with, and contend we shall. If you got past Polyphemus before, you can do it again, can't you, my niece? Once you make it past the docks, it's a straight shot down the channel to Olympus. Treacherous waters, yes, but I can help you navigate, I'm sure. Ah, you've earned the frosty blessing of Elder Goddess Demeter, as I like to call her, to which she threatens to freeze my oceans, to which I apologize profusely, and we move on. Niece, you ever get a ringing in your ears? Well, I do. And not from the water pressure, but from hearing good Hephaestus go a-clang, a-clang, a-clang. Why, it's enough to drive me mad. Why, even from this vantage point, I see that silver of yours gleaming like the abalone shell. The mark of talented Hephaestus, isn't it? At least his handiwork looks good. Oh, my niece, you seem possessed of an uncanny haste. Such swiftness has to be the envy of that rascal Hermes, who as per usual is nowhere to be found. Some messenger he is. I had this feeling you were just about to set forth on another of your fateful escapades. Figured you could use a surge of strength. A long and treacherous journey begins with a single step, my niece. Or if you're swimming, with a single stroke. Would that swimming were an option, I could aid you even more. As you set forth, I bid you do as does the shark, my niece. Surely you know the shark. A hunting fish that swiftly surges ever forward in relentless pursuit of its prey. Let me be first among my kin this eve to bid you a safe voyage through the dark. Not that it's going to be safe, but that's my sentiment, nevertheless. Why, you possess a rod of fishing there. What lingering doubts I had of you just vaporized. What are we even fighting for, if not the right to fish whensoever we desire? You know, niece, the Cocytus River flowing through those musty woods of yours is quite the fishing spot. You'd be doing all those river denizens a favor getting them out of there. Wait, how is it that you live and breathe out here? I thought your father's line was doomed to linger underneath the earth, something like that. Ah, how the times have changed. One thing about me, niece, is I've a keen eye for amphibians. That one with you there is a fine specimen indeed. Mislikes briny waters, but no beast is perfect. Word has reached me that you clashed with Scylla and her siren followers. So that's where they ended up. They once were the torment of many a sailor till I took care of them. What's all this flotsam about Kronos abducting the three fates? Impossible. A ploy to take us off our guard. Don't go believing everything you hear, my niece. Oh, there's no perhaps about it, Demeter. We'll weather this storm yet. I just as soon whip up another great big flood for old time's sake. It's just too many mortals these days. Ah, my niece, you ought to know that elder goddess Demeter and I, we may jeer and jest at one another, but it's never out of spite. Isn't that right, dear foster sister? That old underworld boatman yet eludes the grasp of Kronos, does he? Turn to a life of the piratical smuggler in these dark times. Ah, I fail to see why coin need change hands for a blessing from your uncle, though come to think such blessings are most valuable indeed. Whatever gold you paid ought to be at the bottom of the sea. Who does that Kronos think he is, showering mortals with shiny metals? I trust your boatman there appreciates that the smooth sailing he's experienced in his mercantile routes is no coincidence at all. Oh, you have wounded me, my niece. Not physically, of course, but mentally. Such wounds as heal only with revenge. Sailors know the sea can be a moody mistress indeed, and you know why, my little niece? Because I can be a moody mister. You reject my blessing, niece? Well, then I'll just have to offer it to whomever else drifts by. Perhaps they'll appreciate it. Friendly bit of advice. You turn your back on the sea, you're going to regret it. And the sea in this case is myself. Fear not, niece, all my anger's washed away as quickly as it swelled. That's emotions for you. The seas themselves are simpler to control. I got a little heated there, I think, but I've cooled off. No lasting harm, though to be fair, my blessing here won't last too long either. All right, that's enough splashing around, I think. My wrath has ebbed back into the sea, that is, wherever my wrath has soared. Had so much vengeance on the mind, I let you have a little taste back there. Fear not, only our enemies shall be getting the full course. You made the correct choice. Your uncle's proud of you. That's my little niece. Ha ha ha, yes! You're wise beyond your years. Same thing I would have done. Flattery shall get you everywhere. You mess with the sea, you get sunk. Remember that. Ah, blasted temper of mine. Seems I lost it again. I know it can be difficult, but now we all must stand together, niece. An uncommon family with a common goal. A crashing wave to wash away these troubled times. Apollo said you met your flighty cousin Artemis. Now that's some tracking skill, I must admit. She's gone so often, figured she was merely lollygagging with her woodland friends again. Oh, so precisely did you dispatch your foes that I near mistook you for independent Artemis, my niece. I've no idea where that rascal is. I scarce recall when last we spoke with your grim father, niece. He never was the most sociable sort. When we stopped hearing from him, we figured he was simply in one of his moods, not in the clutches of Kronos. My long-lost niece, you live! We thought you met the same fate as your father, and your mother, and your brother. Oh, well, how about we turn the tide and exact terrible revenge for poor old Hades and his kin? Is that a bit of rainfall in your whereabouts? Oh, you should see old Demeter and Zeus fight over who's responsible. I merely watch and laugh, for either way it's more water for me. Hoy there, my niece. Good tidings to you, niece. Such is the smuggler's life. Ah, there you are. You found me! Ha ha ha! The Cyclops Polyphemus bars your passage to the channel cutting through the countryside. That spoil sport. Once played a little jape to make him think he was my son, and he's been sore about it since. To think that anybody could have thought that I sired such a monstrous scamp as Polyphemus. Still, I used to look out for him. Not like he could look out for himself with just one eye. Ha ha ha! Ask any god upon Olympus whether we think you ought to join in our defense here, or take the fight to Kronos in your father's realm, and you'll get a range of views. A range of highly civil views, which we don't fight about at all. Remember how I said that we don't ever fight with one another on Olympus, little niece? Well, that might have been a slight exaggeration on my part, but I stand with Hera on this one. We think your efforts are best spent up here. It is I, ha-ha! Hoy there! Good tidings! What ho! Aye, aye. Of course. You got it. Oh, very well. Why, certainly. Ah, why not? Ha ha ha, sure. All right. I think not. Done what I can. Oh, this is swell. Yes, ha ha. I am most pleased. That's my niece. Why, thanks. How thoughtful! You sailed right into the rocks like a young fool. I am not easy to offend, yet here we are. You make me angry, I won't let you off the hook. Enough of this, we've bigger fish to fry. Why, little niece, you sailed down there faster than the trimmest mortal ship. Well then, what say we scour clean this little corner of the sea? Ha ha ha! I see the tides come in. Well, my niece, What do you say we sweep clean through those cheerless woods of yours as might a cataclysmic flood? I don't know what you did exactly, niece, but you have summoned me, and I am here, in spirit anyway, and with such boons as ought to practically ensure your victory. Where on our green earth do you reside now, niece? It here resembles some of Demeter's rolling fields of grain. Who knew old Hades had a pasture growing in the underworld, if but a rather dismal-looking one, as I can tell? I like to keep up with current events, and I hear you gave that loudmouth Scylla and her siren hangers-on quite the performance of your own. Too bad their godlike nature means they can't be killed, but they can certainly be shamed. Did you do it, niece? Strange things have happened since the other night. Good things if you're not one of our enemies. We think perhaps you cut old Kronos down to size, but he just grows right back, as I recall. We've all been counting on you, little niece, but still, I'd not expected you could take on Kronos and prevail. I thought at best you'd keep him busy for a while. You must be very strong, like me. You've something freshly caught, thanks to that rod of fishing, I can tell. I don't permit just anybody to dredge up my denizens of the deep, yet it's almost as though they wish to hop right out of there for you. Those watery horrors you face, I just want you to know they're not my fault. I don't abide such monsters in my realm, and so they sneak inside the underworld to take their rancor out on you. I know well that impressive glimmer of the vivid sea that I bestow to you, my niece. Although my seas are quite as clear and blue, you have yourself a sample of the very best. The only greater strength than that belonging to Lord Zeus, my niece, is his combined with mine. Lightning can surge across my waters even faster than it ravages the land. And now my kingly brother and I grant our terrifying might to you. Oh, that we do, most certainly, brother. Not always right away, and there are some occasions when I might decide elsewise if it were solely up to me, but even still, you always have your head up in the clouds where smart ideas form. Ahoy, my little niece! I'm here with the spectacular Queen Hera, fairest wife of my distinguished brother, and all that. Shame I have never found myself a perfect mate as she. You'd bless us if I did, wouldn't you, Hera? Ha 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 ha! See how strong a family we are, my niece. For even in the face of such catastrophe as we all have endured, the Queen herself is able to make such humorous remarks at my expense. But still, when battle rages all around, there's little time for love, little room for beauty. Yet Aphrodite here, she never loses heart. It's almost precious how she strives with all her might, brandishing that decorative spear of hers. I thank you, Aphrodite, for I know how challenging it is for you to fathom the totality of my strength. As let's face it, you're not exactly the goddess of wisdom, nor am I, and we have other common ground in the beauty of the sea. My niece, we all must tirelessly work to counteract the harm Kronos has wrought, some even more tirelessly than the rest. Take, for instance, my nephew Hephaestus here. I told him he could have a word if he got back to hammering after. Come, nephew, you know how much I value your craft, even if I'd not be caught dead wearing much of it myself. It's just, only a coward goes to battle clad in plating head to toe. A coward far more likely to withstand his wounds, but still. I have known Hestia practically since the cataclysmic day that I was born. Although when things are normal, we avoid each other at all costs, she's like an old, wise sister to me at this point, and I'm glad she's here. Right here. Quite on the contrary, dear Hestia. You're wrong at least on two accounts, I think. First, I need never try hard to make a splash. I effortlessly do it every time. And second, don't you call me fish-faced, you mean, wrinkly old hag. Ha ha! There you go again, brushing me aside like a bit of seaweed clinging to your leg. Is that what you take me for, niece? I see you want my blessing still, except a little less than that one you just took. And you want it after a very rousing fight. You are swimming in dangerous waters with such antics, niece. If you so wish to see what lurks in these depths, fine. Oh, come on, little niece. It's like you pick against me every single time. It cannot possibly be worth it to incur my wrath. I'd not have made that choice if I were you, but then if I were you, I wouldn't still be me, so... you get my drift. So, my many different potent blessings just aren't good enough for you? Is that what you would like me to believe? Now, strictly speaking, niece, you chose correctly in deferring to my brother Zeus, but I must still save face. Ladies first, is that the way of it, young niece? I'm sure Queen Hera is most pleased with you, but I, for one, am not. I shall count this one as an honest mistake on your part, for I can fathom no other explanation for what transpired here. Now that is how I like to settle a dispute, using whichever impressionable creatures are around to make my dissatisfaction known. Ah, there I go, fighting my kin again, when I ought to turn my wrath against our common enemy, who is our kin as well. Why, you just wiped the floor with all of those has-beens. And just like that, my fury's ebbed away as well. All right, niece, I'll let you off with a warning just this once. Or however many times it's been. I've really no idea. Oh, this little fishy can bite back. Perhaps I shouldn't be rewarding you for this, but I just cannot help myself. Ah, all is forgiven, niece. No need to fret. I was just testing a resolve, and evidently you have plenty of it still. Why are we dallying when we have bigger fish to fry? Oh, right, because you picked a fight with me. Though does this mean I lost? Most of you underworld gods are more than welcome on Olympus here when we are not at war, but not Eris. Her antics ruined one too many feasts, and now she flaps about our borders, mocking us and making matters worse. Hoy, for it is I again, good niece. Although presumably you must have known, as likely all the unmarked packaging concealing this boon was soaked all the way through. Surprise! You are the fortunate recipient of my almighty boon, which means the legions of Kronos are in for an even bigger surprise, and not the good kind. Grown frustrated trying to take down Kronos, niece? I know the feeling all too well, but now you're here upon the surface where Olympus reigns supreme, at least for now. Now that you've given Kronos something to really think about, you're headed back our way. First an underworld victory, and next perhaps one here. Return for now to more familiar depths, I see. Well, don't feel bad. The surface world is not for everyone. Although the risen dead increasingly pretend it is for them. I must say that's the most substantial labrys that you wield. The Moonstone Axe, Hephaestus says. Well, nothing bests a trusty trident. The tongs of this little fork of mine have wrenched free many a blade. We heard the news that you found old Hades, niece. The most excellent news, I should say. Except the part that he is bound in Tartarus, that isn't excellent at all. We'll get you out of this, brother. You braved the waters in the rift of Thessaly. A nautical experience not for the faint of heart, fraught as it is with deathless ships hell-bent on your family's destruction. May you have smoother sailing there next time. When next you sail across the rift, know this. I shall do my utmost to ensure water current speeds you mightily along. Though how to do it without benefiting the opposing ships? You needn't waste your nectar on me, niece. Not like I can drink it all the way from here. Perhaps that's just how it is with offerings. Mortals, they leave us strips of fresh cooked meat and things like that. What was I on about? Such a voyage we have had, haven't we, niece? And you're not even in my same vicinity. Just how it is with relatives. They're with you even when they're not. Know that I'm with you too, and always making certain that the coast is clear. At least after you find one of my boons. My crusty elder brother, you found him. In one piece. I feared Hades would end up much like Kronos did once we were through with him way back. But Kronos simply chained him up in Tartarus. That's rather twisted, actually. What is that creature with you there? A cat? You should know something about cats, niece. They hate water. And yet those fools require it to live. Perhaps that cat knows better, though, if it has the sense to follow you through hell. I take back all the horrid things I said regarding cats. For yours is an excellent fisherman. Fisher cat. The point is, I'd not known such creatures could appreciate the sea, which means they can be appreciated by me. What I would like to know, my niece, is many things, such as, just how did devious Prometheus slip from his bonds? These titans. We can't seem to get rid of them for good. But we can douse the flames they stole, at least. What, my niece, you're here? I'd come down and welcome you myself, except our mountain home is crawling with invaders, as you've probably observed. So we are at the summit, like a bunch of turtles hiding in their shells. You've seen it? Our mountain's like a cross between a luxurious palace and an impregnable fortress. The so-called legions of Kronos will be getting through these walls. Olympus, gutted like a fish. Used to be all sorts of nymphs and such that had a standing invitation here to make themselves at home. Surely they'll return once the dust settles a bit. You're getting closer to the snowy peaks that we call home. The biting chill is all part of our natural defenses, courtesy of elder goddess Demeter. We even have wondrous automatons holding our foes at bay. You'll be amazed. About the wondrous automatons that I described before, I ought to have also mentioned that they currently cannot distinguish friend from foe. Hephaestus probably is working on that detail, but until then, best to give them a wide berth. Our powerful automaton defenses that Hephaestus has been busy churning out are excellent at killing anything that moves. So don't take their behavior as a personal affront. We weren't counting on you getting all the way up here. How disrespectful that our own automatons would treat you like our common foe. Unfortunately, they don't understand the meaning of respect at all. Last time I told them don't you dare attack my niece, they attacked me. It ought to be all hands on deck here when we have the Titan's armies battering our gates. But wine-loving Dionysus, he so desires peace, yet refuses to fight for it. Oh, I'd drown his sorrows myself if I but knew where he went. Wise Athena noted that the two of you have finally met. It ought to have been the lot of us gathered here to welcome you with open arms, not just a bit of curt formality from that one. Not the warmest welcoming committee, is she? Though I've wielded virtually every type of weapon in my day, I have never seen such armaments as you now use to quite spectacular effect. You'll be an even match for automatons with that. Well, hurry up and take my boon, for there's an opportunity to use your trusty rod of fishing right nearby. I sense such things down in the very fiber of my being, and shall observe your catch attempts with keen interest. A goddess of considerable stature sometimes storms down through those depths, my niece. A friend of yours, perhaps? For she bears fearsome Stygius, a blade that served our family well. No match for this trident, of course. We do appreciate your intervention, though we've others pitching in. Such as stout-shouldered Heracles, you've seen him lately, yes? Even upon our snowy mountain here. I like you better, but he's good, I'll give him that. We've powerful defenses on the ground, but face attackers from the skies as well. Harpies, drakons, more. Also this little winged mortal fellow buzzing all about. Brother Zeus near bolted him before we realized that he was on our side. I shall permit it. I encourage it. Now we're talking. No pressure. Steady, niece. Quietly, niece. I knew you could do it. What a show. Successfully procured. Well done. Terrific work. She's all yours. You didn't use the rod? That little monster. How did that cat? A bit unsporting. Too bad, niece. I'm keeping that one. That one's mine. No. Have another. How about two? And another. One more. My bounty. Behold. All for you. Treasure from the sea. At last you've met militant Ares, little niece. Sometimes I think that he's to blame for everything, in all his warring ways. But then if not for him, we'd have more difficulty fighting back. So I consider it a wash. Is that the so-called blessing of my nephew Ares that you have already? Or are you simply in the mood for some unmitigated wrath? Well, don't forget the seas can be quite moody too. He may not always make for the most pleasant company, but times of peace don't always last, and my good nephew Ares here is excellent to have around for that. Now don't be shy, Ares. Come greet my niece, would you? Our current course ought to be straight toward our foes, where we can smash them like a tempest does a ship. Ah, but I feel all fired up and fit for battle. Come to think of it, I always get this way when my good nephew Ares is around. Did you see the size of that terrible Typhon, my niece? It has been so long since last we fought that I dare say he's grown still larger the intervening time. And sneakier as well. All of that shaking here, it was from him. Much like old Kronos, we have vanquished awful Typhon once before. Your lord uncle, he struck the final blow himself. A bolt of lightning right between the eyes. The two main eyes, at least. He has so many of those eyes. You may be wondering what wisdom we can share and how to deal with horrid Typhon since we battled him before. You'll have to ask Athena about that, or perhaps Zeus. I played a more supporting role during that clash is all. Oh, thank you, niece, for we've defeated Typhon with your aid. Although defeated is a bit of a strong word, for it appears we merely knocked him down, most likely made him angrier. Do make your way back when you can. What shall it take to put horrendous Typhon down for good? He can be reasoned with, recuperates his strength night after night, and has us cornered like a sturgeon in a net. But unlike fish, we can fight tirelessly back. At least you made the awful Typhon's life more difficult last night, my niece. He almost crushed you like a shellfish, didn't he? But you created just enough annoyance that we pushed him back after you ran away, or whatever you did. You were most brave to face gigantic Typhon as you did. And fortunate to have escaped, because I could have sworn he flattened you. We'll hold him off as long as possible, but if you're not too busy, we still need all hands on deck. Where are you going, little niece? The opposite direction of terrifying Typhon, that's how it appears to me. which, come to think, seems like a reasonable course, but we assuredly could use your aid up here. How did you like our fortress at this mountain's peak? It once stood proud and alabaster white before sinister Typhon corrupted it with all his crime and brood. But it's a sturdy structure and held fast so far. Old Kronos warrants every bit of justice you dispensed and more, my niece. I was already angry with him after everything he'd done, and that was prior to my realizing that he'd unleashed terrifying Typhon on us all. Now that's a trim ship with the Underworld boatman at the helm. Perhaps I ought not call him Underworld boatman anymore, for he's become a proper captain now. I'll have to keep the currents clear for him. That Underworld boatman, he can't sail to this mountaintop. Unless he fashions for himself a craft that sails on air, he shall be relegated to my waters. But how then did he get his goods up here? Ugh, what is it about this night, my niece? Our foes all seem to have redoubled their efforts, even retripled in some cases, I dare say. As long as it's all due to your strange underworld practices, according to our little Artemis. Oh, what a horrifying night this is, as though our very nightmares walk the earth or swim across the sea. Our foes are taken with such frenzy that this couldn't possibly be your doing, unless you've lost your senses like the rest. Some sort of dangerous phenomenon is taking place here on the summit, niece. We dare not get too close to it as yet, so if you've heard the others speculate about its origin, those are mere unsubstantiated rumors, nothing more. The others say we face enormous Typhon as a threat, but I've seen no such thing. Of course, I've lately not seen much of anything due to the cataclysmic storm up here. Though I am hearing a lot of low guttural roars. That scoundrel Prometheus got a proper punishment from you last night, Athena says. We've been unable to subdue him, as he's sneaky like the forces he commands. But now you've drawn him out. You caught a star sailor here on our mountaintop, did you? And of none too modest size. Oh, I know every fish within my seas, and other smaller bodies of water as well. The storm gullets and such within the stagnant pools here on the mountain summit, niece. I'm surprised your rod of fishing does not snap retrieving them, such is their monstrous strength. Night after night, victory after victory, ha! You're making all of this look rather easy, niece. Well then, sail on, and may my blessing make things easier still. You've been so focused on setting the underworld right that I'm hesitant to bring it up, niece, but your contributions on the surface would be also welcome here at any point. So many of the Titan's legions you have wiped from the face of the earth, my niece. But war must gather in your father's underworld. Do give them my blessings one of these nights if you catch my drift. You must not think too much of Cyclopes if Polyphemus is the only one you've met. They were our mighty allies once, you know. A shame what all has happened to their kind. To think I once felt pity for that Polyphemus niece. A Cyclops losing his good eye to a mere mortal voyager. Oh, how I boiled over it back then, seeking the vengeance he was not going to find. But this is how he repays me. I've discovered by now all my many boons. I'm always thinking about more, of course. Used to have lots of different ones, if you must know. But times have changed, and Brother Zeus says we must concentrate. My brother Zeus, he says you made it all the way up to our palace, niece, and sent the monster Typhon howling to the earth. Forgive my absence. All too many water bodies to defend. You somehow did it, niece. Typhon is gone. There is no longer any trace of him up here. So now to do the same to Kronos, then? Go on, let's give him everything we've got. Kronos surrendered to us, niece. You must have heard you helped deliver him. Yet there remains some mess that must be cleaned. I cannot follow what he rambled on about, but if you simply need my boons, then here. What is this about having to confront Kronos in other times, and even Typhon too? I'll not pretend to understand, but if this is the cost of peace, I'll pay my share without a second thought. You've some experience with witchery, fine, but you have much to learn about the fishing arts. That you have demonstrated interest is the first step toward mastery. Catching a huge variety of water denizens is the next. That you set aside such ample time to fish has not been lost on me, my niece, and you caught more types of water denizens than I can easily count. You already have my finest blessings. You now also have my deep respect. Now, that is quite the handsome rod of fishing you possess, my niece. Premium materials, delicate proportions, sturdy grip, a masterwork. If I were fish myself, I desire to be caught by nothing less. You caught one of those ugly chimerids from the heart of Typhon's endless storm. A true abomination, not a true fish. But it has enough fish-like parts that we shall let it slide. Why, you have caught practically all the water denizens under the sun and underneath the earth. At least all the ones in all the regions that you normally traverse. That is perhaps your greatest feat thus far. I couldn't help but notice how you seem to keep taking that cloud bangle with you from my brother Zeus. He is a very busy god, you understand, while I may aid you readily if you but use the vivid sea instead. However, did you find such an extravagance amid our tempestuous times, niece? All I expected you to do was furiously fight, but you have done much more. I move the earth itself. Yet you move me. Ah, there's the unmistakable refracting gleam of that vivid sea of mine, or I should say of yours. How it has flourished traveling with you. Your respect for my waters has not gone unnoticed here by me. All that trudging through the Oceanus waters must have made you strong and swift, my niece. Now that's aquatic exercise for you. What better way to stay in perfect shape? These bothersome satyrs befouling our fair mountain. We've shored up our defenses against them, but by the time we clean up all the mess, they're back. Perhaps some of the newfangled boons we've offered haven't always swept you off your feet, but we do still have certain older blessings closer to the ones your brother used to get. Why, here's a few right now. Don't let the pressure get to you as you dive down into those depths once more. Most of my land and sea is far more beauteous than that embattled stretch. I bid smooth sailing to you, niece, and awful shipwrecks to our many foes. Much cleaning up to do, both in your father's realm and mine, and I have just the thing. May you see this voyage to the destination you desire as with the night before. The seas themselves tremble on fearsome nights as this, but you take heart. Again you have embarked towards our shores, so here's a little wind in your sails. I dare say our enemy shall not be getting off the hook any time soon. My heart swells with pride seeing you navigate troubled waters with such ease. I take no responsibility at all for those fish-like monstrosities you have to face down there. The waters may become a little rough, but you have found your sea legs, right, my niece? As you embark on your fateful voyage yet again, my niece, know that I am with you, in boon form. You go sock that Typhon in the eye for me tonight, would you? In all his foul eyes. We've navigated through rough waters many times, and it never seems to get any easier. An age of mortals is to come. Not if I open up a few more rifts, it won't. The earth itself can swallow all of those ungrateful little louts if the seas don't do it first. I was upset when first I heard the fates decided they would change things up on us. Have my brothers and I not ruled our realms with strength and gusto? But no use in fighting prophecy, though I may still complain. Terrible Typhon left his imprint on this mountainside, of that you can be sure. Even our palace buckled under his immeasurable weight. But in the end, our palace stands, not he. How fares my crusty elder brother? Is his home redecoration going well? Hades and I, we never used to talk too much since he moved underneath the earth. But now's the time for us to change all that. I promised I would close that rift of Thessaly right up as soon as our war ended. But apparently we need for everything to be the way it was in order for your sorcery to work. Sounds like a promise I shall have to break. Even with Kronos having gone all soft, the battle on Olympus clearly isn't over yet. But we've shored up our defenses and are keeping all the remnant forces of Prometheus at bay. It's almost like a little ecosystem here. As much as I do welcome this now gentler Father Kronos, who seems less desirous to see our home destroyed, I still am wary of that old coot. He's been cooperative, though. When we first met, I promised terrible revenge for what had happened to your kin. And I think what we've done would qualify. So what if Kronos wasn't permanently slain? Neither was old Hades, after all. It's good to have your brother back, my niece. How he would scurry through your father's underworld like a rat fleeing a sinking ship. But now that ship is bound to be repaired. And it'll be a fine ship after all is said and done. The quaking on Olympus finally ceased. One of many benefits to awful Typhon being cast away. Apparently you have to face him somewhere still. At least some hallucinated revenant of him. I'm glad I don't. My brother Zeus recently turned to me and said, Poseidon, there are times you talk too much. To which I said, you take that back. To which he said, no, I shall not. To which I said, then fine. How about I talk less starting now? Vast is my knowledge of the sea, and even still it has its many mysteries. For instance, how can such a horrifying monster as Charybdis come from such a wondrous place? And what's it doing in my rift, besides gorging itself? Whatever you have done to rile up old Kronos, he's taking it out on us. At least his forces on this mountain are. But fear not, for I have called for reinforcements several times.